Hey guys, Panic here with some more Fortnite, and welcome to my guide on editing, where I'm going to show you how to do it, show you how I practice, talk about some of the most useful edits, and give some tips for increasing your editing speed. So let's jump right into it. If you're new to the game and new to editing, then you need to learn how to do it. It's an essential skill to have in your arsenal, and it often separates the good players from the bad. There are certain opponents you aren't going to be able to beat without it, especially if they're a better and faster builder than you are, so a quick rundown for the absolute beginner. After you place a building piece down, if you stand near it and put your crosshairs over it, you'll notice a symbol of a button that says Edit near it, and when you hold down that button, the piece will turn blue and turn into a 3x3 grid with which you can do things with. You pull right trigger or click if you're on PC, and you can make some of those boxes go transparent, which I'll be referring to from now on as cutting. This is editing. You can cut the two bottom middle pieces like so and hit the edit button again to confirm, and voila, a door appears right before your eyes. You can cut the corners out of any corner and it will open up to allow you to pass through it. You can cut a straight line out of the top to make a half wall, or cut two straight lines like so to make a little wall. You edit floor pieces the exact same way, except it's a 2x2 grid and it just makes holes for you to pass through. Also, I feel I should point out, if you want to edit quickly, you don't want to pull the trigger or click every time per box. Instead, just hold the trigger in and draw through the boxes you want, and you'll see that they disappear just as single clicking did. It's much faster this way. Ramps or stairs are a little different. There's a grid, but there are arrows in the middle indicating which way your ramp was currently facing from low to high. There are a few different ways to edit your stairs, but there are only two that I would focus on if I were you. The first is to change the direction of your stairs. All you do is grab one of the middle pieces depending on which direction you want it to face and drag it to the other side, and your ramp will rotate. I use this when I'm in my 1x1 fort. If there's an enemy behind where I was expecting to see them, then I'll have to rotate my ramp to face that direction so I can walk up it and be able to see out of my fort. Be careful, because it's really easy to edit yourself under your stairs when you try to rotate them. I find editing while I'm standing about midway up the ramp helps with this. The other ramp edit you need to know is to cut your ramps in half. All you do is select the bottom left or right side and drag it all the way across. There are many ways to utilize this technique. Most commonly I use it to surprise my opponents by cutting the side I'm standing on out to jump down and pump them in the face. Also, you can reset any building piece back to its default configuration by going into edit mode on it and simply push your right stick in and confirm it with the edit button. Finally, you can edit roof pieces, but I don't see why you ever would unless you're just building for style like you're playing Minecraft or something, so I won't be covering that here. For editing walls, I find I only ever really need two different edits, and one of them is the corner cut edit. I always choose this edit over making a door because I don't feel like there's any difference in speed, and I don't want my opponent to hear me opening a door in the middle of combat to let him know where I am. It's easy enough to do, but when you're boxed in with an aggressive opponent trying to get in, you need to be able to do it quickly. So the best way to practice this, I've found, is to build yourself a bunch of walls and start editing them as quickly and as controlled as you can. Don't start off too fast. If you're screwing them up and taking multiple tries to get one wall edited, then you're trying to go too fast. Start at a steady medium pace and work your way up. Once you've edited through all your walls, then go back through them and practice resetting them and getting the timing down, because sometimes you need to be able to reset a piece quickly just like you need to be able to edit it. On your next time through, increase your speed a little bit unless you start failing your edits, and so on and so forth. One thing I found that might help some people is if you find that you're failing to cut your corner because your cursor gets dragged over to the other side with the aim assist without you meaning to, then it might help you to edit 4 squares out of the wall instead of just 3 in the corner. So instead of the corner 3, you'd cut the one in the middle as well, like so. It could well be more consistent on console since it's an easier movement to make with the joystick. You just do a quick circle with your stick. Feels like it takes some of the precision required out of the equation. So give both a try and go with whichever one feels better. The other wall edit I use is simple enough. All you're doing is making a window in your wall so that you'll be able to shoot through it. There's not a lot of need to practice this one, but it's a great trick to have up your sleeve to surprise your opponents with. You place your wall, and if your enemy's on the other side of it, you can edit a window to shoot them. It's as simple as that, but Epic recently made it much harder to pull off with the weapon switch delay. I'm hoping they revert this change since most of the community thinks it's terrible, but we'll see. Pretending you're on the other side of this scenario where someone wants to shoot you through an edited window is super easy to counter by just never standing around near enemy player-made walls. If you have to be, then your next objective should be to get yourself out of that situation as fast as possible, because a good player is always going to be aware that they can get you with an edit. Stairs are actually pretty easy. I've already showed you how to rotate them, so I'll show you how I'd learn to cut them really quick. First is practice cutting and resetting a stair so that you can get the motion down. After that, give this drill a try. Basically, I've simulated a combat situation here. I've built my ramps to meet an imaginary opponent. So what I'm going to do is run to the top, place my ramp over my imaginary opponent, then immediately go for the cut to fall down and ideally pump him right in his face hole. I find this works a lot of the time because it's really off-putting to have a ramp slapped in your face. The times it doesn't work are where my opponent is fast and has already adapted and started ramping out in a different direction, and that's generally when I know a good build battle is about to break out. If you are the one getting ramped on in this situation, you immediately need to back down your ramp enough to place a floor over your head just in case they go for the quick cut, or back down so you can place another ramp to go around and over your opponent. That's about all for my editing guide. Honestly, editing isn't really that hard, so I find I don't really need to practice it that much, but if you've never done it, I would give these drills a try at least once. I'd almost guarantee you'll get something out of it, even if you're already a good editor. In the end, like everything in the game, it all comes down to training your muscle memory. But that's all for this video. I hope you found it helpful. I want to thank everyone that has subscribed lately. You all are awesome. Tell your friends about me, and if you haven't yet, please give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I have no shortage of ideas for videos, so stay tuned for more commentaries and guides. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.